everybody, welcome to the Game Informer Show, a weekly podcast about covering the video game industry. Join us every Thursday for a discussion about the latest gaming news, reviews, and exclusive reveals alongside Game Informer staff and special guests from around the industry. I'm your host, Kyle Hilliard, and today I'm joined by co-host Charles Harte. How's it going, Charles?
I've been promoted to co-host today.
That's right.
It's extra special guest Charles Harte.
It's a two-person episode, which means you're a co-host at that point.
Yeah.
What else can I say?
All had to happen.
If you're watching,
go ahead.
If you're watching the video version, you'll see that Charles put together this lovely tribute to Alex and Marcus. Alex is out sick, and Marcus's internet is out sick. It decided today, so. They're alive, but we want to remember them fondly, I guess.
Yeah, we don't want to forget them. It's really important. And if this wasn't here, we might, I guess is what I'm implying.
It's true. It's funny. I don't know if you can see it on your end, Charles, but if you are watching the video version, they take up more screen real estate than you and I do, this image right now.
That's really good.
This week, you might be listening to this on Thanksgiving Day. It's a chill day. It's a chill episode. It might be a shorter episode. We'll see. I say that sometimes, and the clock is like 2 hours, so I don't want to make any promises. But, it's a weird time because we are, at the offices of Game Informer, we're sprinting to not have to work, if that makes sense, right? We all have a ton of deadlines that we're working on, that we're trying to get through, so we can have a nice holiday. And so there weren't like a lot of new games, really. Charles, you played something new, which we'll talk about. Chants of Sennaar, which I'm not sure if we've.
I'm gonna look up how to pronounce it right now because I've questioned it enough times.
But mostly, I mean, personally, I've just been playing like a Dragon Gaiden, the man who erased his name. And I hit the point in the game, which I'm very appreciative of. A lot of games are starting to do this lately, and I've heard that Yakuza has been doing this for a long time. It was basically like, hey, make a save file here. The next section of this game is going to take a really long time, and you're not going to have a chance to pause. It's going to be like a lot of cutscenes and stuff like that. And I was like, oh, thank you. Like, very clearly setting me up for the ending, and it's going to take a while. And I saw that screen at like 12:30 on a Thursday night. So I was like, you know what? Not tonight. I'll come back to it. But it's my first true foray into Yakuza, or like a Dragon, or whatever you want to call it. And I've been enjoying it. It feels like, in a weird way, it feels like a good stepping on point because it's kind of a shorter snapshot of a Dragon game, and I'm liking it for that reason. I think I'm like 13 hours in, and the fact that I'm heading up towards the ending is very satisfying. And I like it also as like, hey, you think you're gonna try Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth? You think you might be into that? Here's an appetizer to see if you're excited for that. And I think I am. I think I am gonna play Infinite Wealth. I'm not gonna go back and play 7. I'm not gonna go back and play 0 through 6. I'm good. I watched my wife play a lot of 7, so I'm familiar with Ichiban. But I guess I'm a Yakuza fan now, Charles.
Ooh,
I did it.
I was gonna ask, are you confused? I guess if you watched your wife play 7, you've got some context at least.
I mean, there are a couple scenes where it'll be like, Kiryu will be like, "Hey, it's you," and then what it'll do is it'll cut to a sepia photo, like a still, of that character that I'm supposed to recognize, but it looks like the same. Like, it's basically like, maybe if you've played the other games, you would see that image and be like, right, that's from Yakuza 4. But for me, I'm like, this is just a different photograph of the character I'm talking to right now. So there's moments like that go over my head, but I mean, overall, honestly, I'm not that confused. I'm confused by some of the politics of the Yakuza, but I mean, that's not really, I don't think playing the other 8 games, right? It's Yakuza 0 through 6, and then Like a Dragon, Yakuza 7, so that's 7 games, and then the 2 Judgment games. I guess those are thrown in there too, because there's a Judgment character that shows up, and my wife has also played Judgment, so I took a picture of the guy on screen. I was like, "Is this guy from Judgment?" And she's like, "Yeah." All right, I think that's all I need to know.
Yeah.
But anyway, I wasn't even planning to talk about Like a Dragon Gaiden, the man who erased his name. I want to hear about, Charles, Chants of Sennaar, a game that I have no idea what this is. This is a complete mystery to me. For all I know, you could be making this game up and I wouldn't know.
Oh, that would be such a good prank. Okay.
I am going to look it up, though. Is it on Steam?
Yeah, I'm playing it on PlayStation. I think it's on basically every platform.
Ooh, my immediate reaction is intrigue. Tell me
So
about this game, Charles.
this game, I had heard about it. It came out back in September. I had seen people like talk about it on Twitter. I think it was still called Twitter in September. I don't know.
It's still Twitter in my heart.
But it is a really interesting game about language, and it handles it in a very, very cool way. So you kind of wake up, and there is English in the game, in that the game will show you, it's like, this is the stick to move, press this to interact with stuff, and like that stuff's in English, so you're not going to be like fully confused. But no one speaks English, and everyone speaks in like a character-based language. So you'll have like a symbol, a few symbols, and then that means some stuff. And at the very beginning, you have no idea what anything means, but you have like a little journal, and you can, based on the context of things, you can take notes on what you think this character means. So like an example, there's like a shop, and I can see there's like a big sign with a pot on it, and then there's a guy inside working on a pot, and then you can see like a symbol there, and I'm like, okay, that probably means like pottery or something. So then I can write that down in the menu, and then anytime...
Okay, pause.
Yes, go
Are
ahead.
you physically writing this down in a notepad, or
It's in the
like
menu
built
of
into
the
the
game.
Yes. Okay, gotcha. Cool.
Which I imagine it'd be easier to do on PC in that case, because then you literally have a keyboard of... it's not that big of a deal. It's not big words or anything, and it's not...
Right.
I don't know. You're not like typing full sentences, but... so you'll see like... I'll be like, I think this word means pottery. You can write that in your notes, and then every time you see that character, hovering above it will be the note of the thing that you think it is. So it'll be like pottery.
So you can be wrong.
Absolutely.
Right? Interesting.
Eventually, once you see enough like words in the wild, your character will be like, I have like a theory. And then there'll be a little page in the notebook, and it's some drawings and circles, and you can match up what the things are to actually know what they are. And at that point, you start getting like fluent in the language. So pretty early on, you learn like you and me and go and want, like those sorts of things. And then you'll talk to people, and then it'll be like, you go ... and that's like a character you don't know. Me want ... and then you're basically figuring stuff out through context. And I think it sounds more confusing than it is. It's done in this like surprisingly intuitive way of like, you just see a word enough times in a certain context, you're like, gosh, that's gotta mean like, I don't know, key or this or that. And as you go through the game, I just like finished the second area, and I'm about to go into the third. But the different areas you're in, they speak like different languages. It's definitely like different dialects.
Okay.
So some of
it's
it,
playing around with accents and stuff too, I guess, right?
yeah. Well, and the characters are completely different, like the written characters. But there's like an early thing when you get to the second area. There's a little display, and it's like a Rosetta Stone where you're like, this says this word, and then right above it in the other language it says presumably the same thing, and then you can like start to translate stuff. And then like in one language, there's not like the letter S, right, to mean plural things. So in one, it might be like this symbol before a word means plural, or in another thing, it might be like if there's multiple of a thing, that means it's plural. So as someone who's just like generally interested in language as a concept, it's super cool. The story is, Kyle, you talked about like Inside and just that genre of game where it's like, yeah, something's happening. I don't really know what it is, but like something's happening. I can follow it.
It's some of my favorite stuff, man.
Yeah, I was like,
I love it.
I was like, Kyle would like this. Like there's parts where it's like, God says warrior goes to sun, and then it's like, all right, next area, and that's like, you got to figure out what that means.
Okay. Yeah, I'm looking at. I also one thing the only thing I can add to this conversation is looking at screenshots, and I love the way the game looks. It's got this really cool like red and yellow sort of style. Yeah, I mean, it's certainly. I've seen games that look kind of like it, but it's really cool. I'm totally intrigued by this. Like I said, I went from a 0 before this podcast to now like, well, it looks like it's on Switch, and you can even download a demo. Do I need to check out Chants of Sennaar?
I mean, honestly, it was a thing where I was like, I'm mad I didn't think of this earlier because I want more people on staff to play it for like end of year stuff. Because it's a really good game. It's worth talking about, and
yeah, it looks like it came out in September, so it wasn't too long ago.
Yeah. It's vaguely reminds me of the same feeling I had playing Tunic, which also has a like made up language. But in Tunic, I don't think you really have to understand it at all. There's some stuff that eventually you're like, you can intuit things mean things. But I like the idea of going through a world and it's like, I don't know what this means, and then you like literally you feel yourself becoming fluent in this language, even though you're only learning like, I don't know, 15 words. Yeah, it's cool. Cool game. Chants of Sennaar.
Yeah. Did you look up the pronunciation? Did you find anything?
No.
Still guessing.
I looked it up.
Yeah, no, I'm absolutely. That might be, maybe that's one I throw on my, my holiday plans are like a Dragon, right? We've already been over that. And then probably Talos Principle 2. And then maybe this. This might be in third place. I also have Gunbrella downloaded on my Switch as well. Those are kind of the games I wanna play.
I've done like 2 or 3 hours of Gunbrella. That's a good.
I'm in the same boat. Yeah, I played it on my Steam Deck and I liked it. And it's silly, but I was like, I kind of want to start over on Switch. I'd rather play with the lighter console. I also am like sort of looking at Final Fantasy 16, a game that I started but didn't finish, that I was like, how much time do I think I have? I don't know.
Yeah, how far did you get?
I got to basically, gosh, I don't want to go into spoilers necessarily, but there's a character early on that you presume is dead.
Okay.
And then like I got to the point in the game where you learn that they are in fact not dead.
So this is like the major time skip, I think? Like you're past that?
I don't know. No, I guess not, because
okay.
I wasn't aware of a time skip. So like I must be just on the cusp of that. It was probably like 4 or 5 hours or something. Like it was more than a dabble, but less than a playthrough.
Oh,
if that makes sense, you know? Like I played quite a bit, but something else came out, or I wasn't totally hooked in, but I also had the plan was to trade the controller with my wife, and we both kind of fell off, and we were playing it on easy, and I was like, kind of want to restart maybe on the harder difficulty. But I don't. We'll see. I mean, I'm talking a big game here, but I'm probably just gonna play like a dragon and then a bunch of Picross or something. Do you have any games that you're like, this is what I'm gonna play while I have a little time off here?
So I will say I started Chants of Sennaar because I wanted to play the Talos Principle 2 because Marcus really liked it.
Right,
and
yeah.
I forgot that like I get motion sick with first person puzzle games. There's like something about the fact that it's like I gotta look here and then I gotta spin around and go to this thing and then I gotta turn around and do this. Like the spinning just like gets to me. So I played like 5 minutes and I was like, I don't think I can do this.
But like Call of Duty doesn't give you motion sickness?
It doesn't, and I think it's because you're not every first person game makes me motion sick, because usually it's about going forward. I think it's when I have to like spin and turn around. I'm also very impatient with puzzle games. Like, okay, I gotta get this, this. I got it. So yeah, I also had tried to play Teardown, which just came to PS5.
Right. Yeah.
And I've always thought it was really cool looking, and I just never had faith that my PC would be able to play it. And that one has this weird thing where when you move, the camera tilts. So it's like you're like top heavy, and you can't turn it off on PS5. So I was like, I can't play this game either. All this to say, then I started Chants of Sennaar. I was like, great, I'm definitely gonna see this one all the way through.
Did you play Portal or Portal 2, or were those you couldn't do those either?
So those are good enough games that I powered through them, but it was like I did Portal 1 in like 5 or 6 sittings, which is like,
oh really? Yeah, that's not.
It's a short game. But yeah, it genuinely got to the point. I always thought Gravity Rush looked cool. That's like motion sickness incarnate. That was
third person. Would that change anything? I don't know.
It's different. It's just the fact that you're always turning, and it's like I don't know what's up and what's down.
Oh yeah, that's the king of that game. Is the king of that.
I got most of the way through Gravity Rush 1, and I didn't finish it, and it was to the point where I was like, should I start like taking Dramamine before playing this game? And I was like, I feel like you shouldn't have to medicate yourself to play a video game, so I didn't bother.
I mean, unless you like really got to see what happens next, Maybe I don't know if you played Portal 2, but that's a game that like it's paced so well. I think it would be hard to put down, And you'd be like, it's like, well, I gotta pop some Dramamine here so I can see what what's going on with Cave Johnson.
I think I did most of Portal 2. It was kind of a weird thing because I had somehow like had the ending spoiled for me.
Oh, bummer.
Through some like internet theory or something, I don't know. So it was a thing where I wasn't super like invested in getting all the way to the end.
Okay.
But I didn't really answer your question. The game I want to get back to is Resident Evil 4 because I gave it a try and I was like, I don't get it.
Really? Don't get it. Okay.
I'm sure I could get into it. I just was getting annoyed. I was like, why is it so hard to kill anyone? I gotta run away half the time. I don't know. And not to say that there's not a place for that type of game. It was just I expected it to immediately click and it didn't.
Right. How far did you get into that one?
Like 90 minutes maybe.
So did they ring the bell to
I got to
like, did you get into the town to the first big action sequence? Oh, okay. So you got okay.
Yeah.
Because I feel like if the whole sequence in the village, where it just ramps up the intensity to like 11 in the first hour, and then they ring the bell and they all leave. I feel like if you didn't play through that and were like, hell yeah, maybe not Resident Evil 4 is not for you. I don't know.
I just don't like, this isn't how like art works. I just want to go into someone else's head and know like what they're feeling to like target that feeling. Because to me, it's not like, I don't know. I just feel like I've felt cool things in video games. Like Final Fantasy 16, there's some like super cool set pieces in that where I'm like, I think anyone would think this is really cool. And that opening village scene, I was like, yeah, it's a bunch of zombie guys. I don't think I have enough ammo to kill any of them, so I'm just kind of running around waiting for the game to tell me either go here or I don't know. But they were all
what
going
we
to
should
leave.
do sometime? I don't know if we'll be able to do it this year, but if we could stream you playing Resident Evil 4 and have someone like me and or Blake just there with you to be like try this, maybe this, are you shooting them in the knees, like that kind of thing, because you don't really want to go for headshots in Resident Evil 4. But also, Charles, if you're not into Resident Evil 4, that's okay. No one's. It's not a big deal. You're not, obligated.
I feel the way about Resident Evil 4 that I feel about Taylor Swift, where I'm like, I don't think I like it, and I don't understand why so many other people like it, and that bothers. Like, I don't think they're wrong for liking it. I just don't understand it, and I want it. I want to feel the way people feel going to the Eras tour and entering the first village in Resident Evil 4.
They're the same thing, basically.
Basically the same
they're
thing.
Basically
I think this is Taylor Swift. As far as I haven't met her yet.
What are you pointing at? It's off screen.
Sorry, it's I forgot you're cropped. I do have the Resident Evil 4 Game Informer right here.
Ashley Swift. Yeah, she's Taylor's sister.
Taylor's younger sister.
This transition is not going to work because we've moved past motion sickness. But speaking of motion sickness, I did want to touch briefly on Assassin's Creed VR, which I started and I was interested in it. You're always going to be hesitant about VR stuff, and I ran into some like major issues with it like working. But I want to include the asterisk here that like I don't think it was necessarily the game's fault. I think there was just something in my setup. Like I have a pretty well lit area that I play VR. It's a Quest 3 game. I wasn't like plugged into my computer or anything. But I kept having this issue where like I would try to climb because it's Assassin's Creed. So there's sequences where you're climbing and and you're playing as Ezio, and like he just wouldn't grab onto the wall. Like he just like I would see the hand animation grab onto the wall and then try to lift myself up, and he would just like let go. And it was like consistently happening with every wall I encountered. And like I said, I don't know if other people, I haven't heard a lot of people talking about playing it. Maybe I just missed those conversations, but like I think I might just have some weird setup issue where I need to reinstall it or recalibrate my room or something. But one thing I did want to call out is I really liked. It's a weird thing to call out, I suppose, but that's just how it goes in VR. You do sword fighting and climbing, and those feel somewhat familiar to other VR experiences. But the one thing that Assassin's Creed had that I was really into was to get your wrist blade. You have to actually take the controller and kind of flick it out like that. And I was like, and you do get to like sneak up behind people, and you can like thwip and then like stab them. And I was like, okay, that's a good VR thing. Like this feels good. That one, it's like in Half-Life Alyx where you can pull things towards you, where you sort of like you sort of highlight them and you flick your wrist back, and Alex just sort of catches them, which is one of those. It's like one of those things in VR that when you play other VR games, I'm like, I need that Half-Life Alyx like gravity divide. They have a name for it. It's like in the context of the world, it invented this thing that lets you just sort of pull things towards you, and I feel like the wrist blade is like that. I want that snappy wrist blade in other VR games. Now I want to play it some more. We'll see if I get around to it. Apparently I'm planning to play all the video games over Thanksgiving break, so I don't know if I'll get back to Assassin's Creed VR, but good wrist blade action is what I wanted to call out specifically.
Good wrist blade action.
Charles, you have a segment prepared about Thanksgiving birds.
Why, yes, I do.
I want you to set this up because I'm almost not quite sure what what it is you're planning exactly.
Well,
so tell me about it while I sort of rearrange our setup to make it fit in here better.
So we were talking about you mentioned earlier we're kind of scrambling to get some stuff ready for Thanksgiving so we can be like, we're still posting things, the site's still alive, even if, we're eating turkey with our families.
Yeah.
And it was like, yeah, it's a good time for like, quick, fun little articles, whatever. And I don't know, this particular idea came to me. I'm almost positive it's been done before. I didn't look very hard, but I basically decided, what if instead of a turkey on Thanksgiving, you ate a bird from a video game? And if you did eat a bird from a video game, which would be the best birds to eat? So, Kyle, I have prepared a slideshow. I have my ratings that are going to come in when I click it, but I want you to give your thoughts first, and then I can give what I did. This is also a written piece that'll be up today. Does this come out on Thanksgiving or?
Yeah. This Thursday? Will be on Thanksgiving Day. I think by the time I made the schedule for everyone to post things, your written article will be on the site at this time.
Beautiful.
So go check it out. And by the way, if you're listening to the podcast version of this, I would encourage you to go check out the video version on our Game Informer Show's YouTube channel, because Charles has prepared a PowerPoint presentation that is currently
it's not
being
really
shown.
It is a PowerPoint presentation. It's just pictures and words. That's all. I guess that's all that PowerPoint.
That's
really
PowerPoint.
I'll also make a point I'll try to explain what's on the screen, so if you are just listening, then it'll still be comprehensible.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. Let's kick it off here. rating video game birds on deliciousness.
This is the thumbnail I made. Pretty good.
Oh, Kirby just eating a bunch of familiar video game birds.
All right, first up, Kazooie. We got Kazooie from Banjo-Kazooie.
Oh no. Okay. And so what do I add to this? You want me to give it?
So we're rating them out of 10. Okay. The 3 things I kept in mind, I didn't put this in the article, but things I kept in mind. One is like literally how like delicious do they look? Like, does this look like a meaty bird that I could eat and enjoy? 2, would they be easy to like capture? So like if I'm trying to eat like a god bird or something, is that going to be too difficult to wrangle down? And I can't remember what the third one was. I had 3 in my head, but definitely those 2 of like, can you catch it and does it look good?
All right, and then you sort of combine your thoughts on that into
and then also how I feel about them like personality wise. So like I don't want to eat like a super nice bird or something, you know.
Right. Okay.
So.
All right, so Kazooie, I think, does not look delicious at all. I think they score low there. I think they would be easy to capture because Kazooie rarely leaves Banjo's backpack. She's usually she doesn't really walk that much. And then in terms of how much I'd want to eat, I mean, she's kind of mean. She's kind of rude and mean. So I don't. But yeah, that first metric seems pretty important for tastiness, and I don't. Kazooie does not seem like a tasty bird, so I would say like a 6 personally, maybe.
I went with 4.
4. Oh, even
same reasoning. Kazooie was originally like a 1, and then we got some other birds on this list, and I was like, okay, Kazooie's higher. Kazooie's got to be higher than a 1. Yeah, I don't know. Kazooie also like has too much personality for a bird for me. Like some of these feel like birds, and Kazooie feels like a character bird.
Kazooie's a person you could have a conversation with. You know? Even if she's mean, she's still fully realized. You know? Okay.
Next up, we have Unpheasant from Pokemon Black and White.
Looks a lot tastier, I think. Where are they? How easy are they to capture in the game? They're not like particularly rare, are they?
Well, they're a 3rd stage bird evolution. So I think there's like shaking grass in Black and White, which is like a way you can get really high level Pokemon. But for the most part, I don't think you can catch Unpheasant in the wild. But you can probably catch like a level 50 Tranquil somewhere and evolve it into Unpheasant.
So that seems kind of tough, yeah. And I mean, I don't know. I wouldn't feel too bad about eating an Unpheasant. There's a lot of Unpheasants in the world. You know, there's only one Kazooie.
Sure.
There's a lot of Unpheasants. So maybe like an 8, maybe. Sure.
I went with 9.
9.
I think I'm weighting tastiness over other things pretty heavily.
Right. Yeah, sure.
Yeah, it's also like a pheasant is a bird people eat.
Yes.
And the average pheasant, I believe, is like 2-point-something pounds. Average unpheasant is 63 pounds. So this is just like a huge 4-foot pheasant. It would feed a lot of people. So that'd be great.
Oh, Kuko? That's Kuko, I guess. Okay, yeah. This would be like a 9 for me. I think because it's just a chicken, man. If that's all it is, you know, like, and I wouldn't feel. I mean, they retaliate, which is fine. Like they should, frankly. I don't think that they're. I like Kazooie's mean because she's like rude and she insults everybody. I wouldn't call a Kuko mean because they attack you when you hit them. I think that is a very reasonable response to being hit with a sword by Link. But they probably taste good, and you know they're not that hard to capture. You just walk up to them and pick them up. It's probably a 9 for me. This one's pretty high.
So I gave it a 0 because I don't think you could get one. I think you could grab one, but can't. Now, Kyle, you're the Zelda expert. Can you kill Cuccos in any of the games?
You know, that is a really good point, actually. Yeah, because getting them is easy, right? You can pick up a Cucco, and take them wherever you want. You could carry them all the way to Death Mountain. And throw them in
they're fine.
The volcano.
You just can't. Like, I'm pretty sure there's a strat in, or not a strat. In Breath of the Wild, you can throw one at like Blight Ganondorf or whatever his name is, and destroy him because they're invincible birds.
Yeah, that's a great point. I don't think you can kill a Kuko.
Mm-hmm. So
you know what? Yeah, but if you could, the score would be a lot higher.
Yes,
right?
absolutely, absolutely. Next up, we have Shriek from Ori Will o' the Wisps. This is a big, demon bird thing I had never seen before, but coworker Wesley suggested it. This is a huge, gnarly bird.
Yeah, this is like the big bad, I feel like, of Will of the Wisps. If I
very, very bony.
Yeah. It does not look like it would taste good at all. It just seems like just harsh and tough meat. I just... Gosh. It's if I remember the game correctly, I think it's like I said, I think it's like, if not the main villain, like a really important villain, so I wouldn't feel too bad about eating it. So maybe like God, but it does not look like it tastes good. Let's go 5 for me.
I gave it a 0 also.
Another 0? You're just tossing out these zeros.
Yeah, no, I'm not gonna eat this thing. It looks disgusting. I think I actually have this labeled wrong. I think it's -5 on the actual article.
That's funny.
Stormbird from Horizon Forbidden West / Zero Dawn. This is a big robot bird.
I mean, 0. You can't eat this.
You can't eat it.
Right?
It's metal.
Also, like, wait, these are enemies, right? Or is it?
I think these are enemies.
Okay, because in the new Horizon, you can get one that will fly you around places, which was sort of a late game unlock that I thought was really cool.
I don't eat that one
I would
either.
feel bad about eating it.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter because you can't eat it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We got Brewster, the barista bird from Animal Crossing.
Now, is I don't really play a lot of Animal Crossing. Is Brewster, is he among the like annoying characters? Because a lot of characters people find annoying, right?
Yes, I don't think he is. I think he gets mad at you if you let your coffee get cold. That's what the Animal Crossing wiki said, which I did read as research. But he's not. Excuse me. He's not like an angry. He's not a Rossetti or anything like that.
Okay, he's not scary. I mean, so I would feel bad then eating him. I think because, you know, he's just an entrepreneur trying to get his coffee shop rolling, as you know, a late game Animal Crossing DLC or whatever. I don't know. I'm sure he would taste fine. He doesn't look. He looks like Play-Doh. I think he would be like too salty. So I don't know. 2?
He does look salty. I didn't even consider that. I gave him a 6.
6. Okay, man. I'm like, we've only been lined up on the robot bird. That's the only one.
I appreciate the diversity of opinion here. I should go back and average all our scores for the official thing. Franklin is a turkey from Animal Crossing. It shows up on Turkey Day. And according to Animal Crossing Wiki, which is the only source I have for this, in the original Animal Crossing, he's invited to town to be dinner. And he hides from everyone. And you can go and like take utensils from people so they can't eat him.
Weird. I'm sure he tastes great. 10 out of 10, right?
Mm-hmm. I give him a 9 out of 10.
9 out of 10.
You didn't read the preamble to this article, but part of it is like, wouldn't it be great if we had birds that weren't turkeys? And for me, I'm like, this kind of goes against the spirit to give it just a different turkey 10 out of 10. So I give him 9 out of 10. But
okay,
yeah,
fair.
definitely good. Definitely good. He's a turkey. Next, we have Duck from Duck Hunt,
who looks like candy. He looks like a piece of candy somehow. So he doesn't taste like poultry. He probably just tastes like Skittles or something. He also seems like he'd be crunchy, right? Doesn't he have a crunch to him?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it's the old sound effects, the clicking of the gun, the light gun. I don't know, but he seems like a crunchy, sweet bird that's like too much. Like it's like, yeah, this is too. I want something that tastes more like chicken. This is too scary.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
I'm gonna say like 5. I'm gonna go with 5.
10 out of 10.
10 out of 10.
10 out of 10. I wish ducks were real. All right. Next up, we got.
I wish ducks were real.
We got Neki from Donkey Kong.
Yeah, there's a couple of different versions of this vulture in Donkey Kong Country. Are you too young for Donkey Kong Country, Charles?
I'm not too young for the Wii Virtual Console. So I did.
I love Donkey Kong Country. That's like some of my favorite games. Like this is formative for me playing Donkey Kong Country and going after Neki, and looking him up in the instruction booklet and reading about Neki. He looks like a bird, like a proper bird, with proper feathers. I think he would taste pretty good. I'm gonna go like 7.
So whatever you do, it's always 5 in the opposite direction for whatever reason. I give him a 2.
Why are you going 2?
This is a better picture than the other ones. This bird is like mostly head. He also looks like a vulture to me, which is like it's actually, it might be a condor. Vultures are just notoriously really gross birds.
That's true. Yeah.
So I was like, I don't think he looks that good. Next up, we got Klepto. Klepto is the bird from 3D Mario games that steals things, most notably Mario's hat.
Oh, well, where's this picture from that you have?
This image is from Mario Odyssey.
Okay, but he's also in like
Kingdom.
Mario 64 and stuff like that, right?
Yes,
okay.
yes.
I mean, he looks a lot like Neki.
Mm-hmm.
What did you give Neki?
I give Neki a 2.
All right, I'm gonna go 3 on this one and see if I hit it, because he looks a little tastier. 5.
I gave this one a 5. He does look tastier. Most of the points though are from spite, because I just don't like this bird, and I would be glad to be part of the reason he died.
He's always stealing here. Oh my God!
Next up, we got Deathrite birds from Elden Ring. These are big, bony, gross. I don't even know how to describe them. They are bird in shape only.
I don't remember these guys. I mean, it's kind of like they would get along with Shriek, right? Like they'd be friends, right? They'd be like, we share a lot of the same interests. And also, like, they look like they're mostly made of, like, ephemeral energy as opposed to, like, meat. So, like, but I wouldn't feel bad about eating them, because every enemy in Elden Ring is horrifying for a million different reasons. So, let's go 2.
Mm-hmm. -10, gross. Next up, we got the Warhawk from Elden Ring. If you've never played Elden Ring and you're just listening to this, picture a hawk, and then its feet are 2 swords. And that's what a Warhawk is.
Hated these guys. These guys are the worst. But they look pretty tasty. I really would not feel bad about eating these guys at all, because these guys suck. So let's go 6.
I went 8.
Hey,
I enjoyed it. The way I see it also is like, you kill a bird, you also get 2 cool little swords. So
that's that you can use to slice the meat.
True. I was thinking of it. It's like the Happy Meal of Thanksgiving birds. Of like, you get a little toy with the food.
The Happy Meal of Thanksgiving. Oh no, Prinny.
Next up, we got Prinny from the Disgaea series.
I can't. I like penguins too much, and Prinny is ostensibly a penguin. I gotta go 0 for Prinny.
I did go 0. Also, Prinnies notoriously explode when thrown, so I don't even know if you could cook it. I feel like it would just explode in your oven.
That's a good point. I guess you're not, unless you're throwing it into the oven. Maybe it cooks itself in that case, if it just explodes.
Oh, I guess, yeah. Is there any Prinny residue after the... I don't even know. Next up, we got Songbird from the BioShock series. I have not played these games. This is once again going off of image and wiki entries that I read.
Is Songbird, and I know you just said I never played these games, so I don't know, I don't think you'll have an answer to this question. Is Songbird fully a robot, or is he somewhat organic?
It's unclear.
Oh, okay.
So listener, I, for dramatic effect, clicked and then made a question mark out of 10 appear. Yeah, I don't know. They say it might be a person, but if it might be a person, might be a bird, whatever it is, it's unclear what the insides are. And I was like, I don't want to feed my family a maybe meat, you know?
Maybe meat. Yeah, Songbird is a, like, primarily I remember them as like just a big boss fight.
Mm-hmm.
But Songbird was like sort of built up to be something much cooler and villainous and interesting, and it's just kind of like a robot or like a brainwashed creature that you just sort of fight at some point in the game. I don't remember Songbird very well. I quite like BioShock Infinite. I know it has this weird reputation these days. I think that game's really cool. But Songbird, I remember kind of being like, yeah, okay, Songbird.
Next up, we got the MOA, which is a big kind of ostrich-like thing from Halo series.
Yeah, technically, in theory, we know what this tastes like because they sold the chips, right? I never tried them. I never heard anyone say they were good or bad in either direction. So in the spirit of neither good nor bad, let's go with a 7.
Okay. I gave it a 9. I was like, yeah, that seems good. Yes, you mentioned the chips.
There they are.
I pulled up MOA burger flavored chips. So to be clear, not MOA flavored, MOA burger flavored Pringles, which Polygon said, quote, "I've never found a Pringle flavor I like this much."
Oh, okay. So Polygon really likes it.
Polygon gave a glowing review to these wavy.
You know what my
burger
favorite
chips.
Pringle flavor is, Charles?
What?
Plain.
That was really good. I don't know. Yeah.
I don't think I've ever in my life found a potato chip flavor that I like more than just like the straight ahead, potato chip, right? I don't know. Is that weird?
I don't know. I don't mean this in a mean way. I don't know how to say this without it sounding in a mean way. It just sounds that sounds like a very old person thing to say. Like, I just like my chicken with salt and pepper. I don't know what all these other fancy things are. I'm a diehard barbecue flavored chips fan.
See, like I'll eat a barbecue chip, right? Like I eat all these flavors, and I have a great time. What a fun adventure we took down the MOA burger wavy Pringles chip avenue. But it's like, well, that was fun. Time to get back to the standard flavor. Right. I don't know. Maybe I'm weird.
You're an adult.
I guess. But it's like you drink cherry Coke, and you're like, well, that was fun. Now But I mean, are we all kidding ourselves here? Like, we got to stick with the regular Coke, right?
Sure. I mean, some people are gonna say you're crazy for saying that, but yeah.
Yeah, I guess so. Maybe.
Next up, we got Donald Duck from the Kingdom Hearts series and nothing else.
And nothing else.
This was suggested for the record by Marcus, who, until his internet wasn't working, I was gonna make answer for putting this question on here. But instead, this is his legacy. So
I mean, there's no way Donald Duck tastes good. He's way too angry and like tense to like good meat. Like, there's just no way. He's 2 out of 10. 6. Charles.
He's a little plump. There's a little meat on there. I don't know. That'd be fine.
Sounds like you're hitting on him.
Finally, Chocobo from Final Fantasy series.
I mean, I bet Chocobos taste pretty good. I would feel bad about eating them, though, because they're, like, companions. I mean, even the image that you have on screen here for us, he's, like, smiling. He has such a friendly smile, so I would feel really bad about it. So I would go, like, maybe, like, a 3 or 4, just because I feel so bad about the prospect of it.
100 out of 10! I want to eat a chocobo all day.
Wow, did not see this coming.
This was the reason I wrote this, is I was like, I would love to eat a chocobo. I feel like they would be delicious. So yeah, that concludes our Thanksgiving birds. Let us know if there are any other birds that you think we should eat, and if you disagree with any of me and Kyle's ratings, which always seem to be opposite of each other. So you probably agreed with one of us.
All right, so now you got R.I.P. Marcus and Alex back. We had a couple of hypotheticals that we were going to throw at each other too. I don't know if you've thought about these too much. I haven't. I'm putting myself on the spot with these, Charles. Maybe you've had more time to think about it. But
I don't even know what you're talking about.
We were going to sort of think about video game characters we'd invite to dinner, and then video game food that we'd serve at Thanksgiving, which we covered a little bit here with. Like, you would serve chocobo, apparently.
I would, yeah, absolutely.
Without any shame whatsoever.
Yeah, well, then it's a thing of like, do I tell people it's chocobo? Like, are they just like, oh, this is the best turkey I've ever had, and I'm like, yeah, but family recipe. Put a little heart into it. You know what I'm saying?
The secret ingredient is love. and an RPG adventure.
An RPG adventure. Yeah, we'll do. I'm trying to think of other food. My go-to like video game food is always the curry in Persona 5.
Oh sure.
Something about the way that's made. You know what, the way Joker always comes home at the end of the day and he's just like, you've lived the whole day with him. He's tired. And then it's like, oh, you want to make some food? And then he eats it. It just looks really good. And then there's coffee too.
Yeah. But would you invite him? You'd eat the curry. Would you? Because he seems like he wouldn't say much and he'd be kind of dull.
I think
right?
the Phantom Thieves as a whole, they would be fun over for Thanksgiving.
But just Joker though? If Joker's like, oh, the other thieves are busy, but I'm available.
I mean, that's a great question.
I'll let you answer this because he's a reflection of you, Charles.
That's true. I mean, I guess if he needs a place to go, would I reach out? No. If Joker was like, please let me come over for Thanksgiving, I'd be like, okay, sure, come on.
God, you're so cruel, Charles. Of course I would invite Joker. It's Thanksgiving.
Wow.
Why are you being so mean? I really set you up for this. Yeah, I'm trying to think of video game foods. I always wanted to try Lon Milk from The Legend of Zelda. A lot of those Zelda recipes I'd want to try. I want to try that cake that's made of like Monster Essence. That's got to be pretty good,
Monster
right?
cake. Yeah, well,
right? Isn't that what it's called?
Because the Monster Essence is like the other foods in Breath of the Wild Tears of the Kingdom look good. The Monster Essence is like a magical ingredient that makes things previously unedible edible, right? Or is that just when you add Monster
like
Extract
that.
to the whatever it is? I have no idea what that tastes like, and I would be curious to learn.
It is the one that I look at that I'm like, I have no idea. Because it seems like anything that you add, if you're adding monster stuff to it, it seems like it would be a bad idea. But then you do it, and that thing looks pretty good.
Mm-hmm,
you know?
mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So yeah, that would be pretty good. I don't know. I'm trying to think. Yeah, other like really, there's like maybe some rare candy, just a bowl of rare candy on the table.
Now you did mention you interviewed, was it Masuda?
Junichi Masuda, yeah.
Yeah.
This was a long time ago.
And he said rare candies wouldn't taste good.
Yeah, he said it would taste bad.
He said it would taste like dog food. It would be like a human eating dog food, basically.
But what does he know about Pokemon? Producer of Pokemon since its inception. That's a good point. Yeah. So maybe I don't want rare candy.
I would still try one. I mean, it does so much for Pokemon.
As a newly minted Like a Dragon fan, I've decided at the beginning of this episode, Ichiban seems like a cool hang. Get Ichiban over. Kuryu, he seems a little more stoic. Of course I'd invite him because I'm not a monster like Charles. I wouldn't even think twice about inviting somebody.
Wow, okay. I just don't like people, so it's not specific. It's like
that's another food game. That's like you go eat a lot of food in that game. Like if you're low on health, you just step into a restaurant and eat like an avocado burger. Those look pretty good. That'd be weird to just have a bunch of avocado burgers on my Thanksgiving table, but
I would be down for that.
It's my dinner.
Yeah,
I can do what I want.
I want to invite Karlak from Baldur's Gate 3. She's really cool and pretty fun, and of the cast of Baldur's Gate 3, definitely is the one that's most like consistently pleasant to be around. Like other people are like, what was that?
Which character was the most consistently pleasant to be around?
Karlak,
okay.
Everyone, she's just kind of like a jolly, nice person. I feel like Gale can get moody. He's like fine. Will kind of the same way. Shadowheart, I feel like is not nice in general. Maybe eventually, but Karlak is the one that's like, she can come. She's invited for sure.
All right. I'm trying to think of other. I've kind of like now I'm in a 2023 sort of thought process. If anyone from Resident Evil 4 would come, they could all come, of course. Ada would just like disappear halfway through, and everyone would be like, "Where'd Ada go?" And Ashley is definitely going to be at her dad's for Thanksgiving. She just has to be hanging out with her dad, the president, of course. Luis, I think, would be the best Thanksgiving guest. He seems fun and energetic and eager to help anybody for any reason, which is kind of his downfall ultimately. Yeah. Charles, it's, before we move on to housekeeping, are there any gaming-related things that you're thankful for this year? Again, I'm sort of putting you on the spot.
Things I'm thankful
One thing I'm thankful for is the small download size of Nintendo games. I don't know how they've managed to do that, but every game is like less than 30 gigabytes, which is lovely in the face of Call of Duty, which is like, 30,000 gigabytes or whatever. I don't even know.
I was gonna say that's a really good way of, you took a thing I was like actively unthankful for, and you're like, but what's the nice side of it? I'm glad that some people have small downloads.
Yeah. Well, it's pretty much Nintendo exclusively. Like they're the only ones.
I am thankful that we have shifted largely to rechargeable controllers. That was always a thing, bothered me growing up, of like having to switch out the batteries. You haven't used a controller in a while, you don't know if it's dead, and then you try to use it because like the fourth person comes over for Mario Kart and it's like, I can't use this controller, the remote's dead. That's just a nice thing. I appreciate that, especially when you can plug it in like to the console. Like I remember I was a Xbox 360, Xbox One player, and then I got my PS4 and I was like, I can just set it on top of the PS4 and it'll charge it, and then I never have to worry about it. So
yeah, I guess the one thing about the PS4 stuff is like I always like struggle to find that cable.
Mine's just always in it.
I guess that's smart. I don't know. I just didn't want like an ugly spaghetti string hanging out in front of my console all the time.
This is the difference here. Of I was 19 in my college dorm room. Like, there's ugly spaghetti all over the place.
That's your primary diet. Yeah,
exactly.
One thing I'm not thankful for is with the batteries. My Xbox Series X controllers will be. I'll like start it up and I'll be like, hey, by the way, your controller is almost dead. And I'm like, okay, great. Well, I'm just gonna keep playing until it actually dies, so I don't use it. And then it's like I play like for 5 days, and I'm like, you're giving me this alert like way too early. Like, give me some time here. But I don't know if I'm not thankful for that. I'm the opposite of thankful for that. So.
I'm thankful for like PlayStation Plus games, that's still a thing. I feel like they're, to be clear, like the monthly PlayStation Plus games.
Right.
I feel like there's a lot of shifting to like subscription models and stuff, which is all fine and dandy. But it is really nice. Like a few weeks ago, like a month ago, I don't know time. I was like, Alan Wake 2's coming out. I should play the first Alan Wake. I own it because of PlayStation. Nice. They just gave it to me. And I feel like that happens all the time. It's just a nice thing to have.
And then, if I remember correctly, you were like, this game's okay.
Yeah, I was like, I bet the next one will be great.
Did you end up playing 2?
I did. My take on Alan Wake 2, my Alan Take 2, if you will, is I loved the package. Like, I loved the outside. I love thinking about the game as a concept. I think it does a lot of aesthetic things better than any game has ever done. The literal experience of playing it, I was not always, like, into. Like, I wasn't crazy about the combat. I think, like, the actual beat for beat what the story is wasn't, like, crazy interesting to me. I kind of guessed one of the early twists, or one of the later twists pretty early on, and that kind of, like, took some of the wind out of my sails. But, like, some of the live action stuff in there and just the way that, like, it's all presented, I think is, like, second to none. I just wish I felt as crazy about playing it as I did like some of my other favorite games.
Gotcha. Hey, I don't know if you read my review. That is basically exactly how I feel.
Yeah.
Speaking, what were you talking about earlier? Oh, Resident Evil 4, and you were like, I wish I could experience what everyone else experiences. That's kind of how I feel about Alan Wake 2 sometimes.
Yeah.
Like, everyone loves it so much. I wish I loved it as much as they did.
I think it's for like for certain people. There's different parts of a game you value differently in your head.
Right.
And I think there's definitely like a version that like that aesthetic is so good that like the fact that I don't know the gunplay. I don't think anyone would say like the guns in Alan Wake are the best guns in any video game ever. Even people that think it's like a 10 out of 10 game, they're just like, that's kind of irrelevant to the reasons I like it.
Yeah. No, that's totally fair. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I have a lot of I'm I'm that way about a lot of games where I'm just like, that part of it I don't really care about.
Yeah. Who cares? Yeah.
Let's do a little housekeeping here before we wrap up the show with a couple questions. Of course, you can get single issues of Game Informer magazine at GameStop stores, and you can also go to GameStop.com/GameInformer, and it's like a Game Informer page, and there's like a bunch of our reviews at the top and stuff. But if you scroll down a little bit, you'll see where you can buy single issues of I believe everything that's available at this point. We are going to be announcing our next cover, Vamp. I think in 2 weeks. I think. I'm not going to say the exact date because I'm not sure exactly. But early December, we'll have a new issue to share, which is exciting. And of course, you can follow us on Twitch.tv/GameInformer. We stream stuff every Friday. The week you're listening to this, which is the week of Thanksgiving, we will not be streaming this week. But Marcus and we finished the Neversoft Spider-Man game recently, and we're going to play something new. We haven't decided yet. We're going to figure that out. And of course, did I say of course already? I think I just keep saying of course. Like, of course you can buy single issues. Of course you can follow us on Twitch.
It's one of those words you just keep using it, you know?
Yeah. X, Twitter, Facebook. We're on Threads. We're on Blue Sky, TikTok, all those places. Follow us there. You can listen to our other podcast, Game Informer's other podcast, All Things Nintendo, with host Brian Shea. I'm going to be on that show soon talking about Ocarina of Time, which is a very important game to me. And of course, shout out to Matt, aka DJ Stormageddon, who edits the podcast for us here at Game Informer. He does great work, and he has his own podcast, Fun and Games, and the Reignite podcast, which I could be. I believe it's like a BioWare focused podcast. Is that right, Matt? Listening to this, maybe he can fix it in post if I mislabeled that.
We'll hear a Matt voice come in and say yes.
Yes, you got that right. All right, let's do a couple questions here before we call it a podcast here. And of course, you can ask us questions by joining our Discord. You can also send emails to podcast@GameInformer.com. But I will admit, we do check Discord more readily. And if you're not a part of our Discord, the easiest way to do that is to subscribe to our Twitch channel. Even if you just subscribe, for a month to our Twitch channel, it will get you entrance into the Discord channel. And if you need some help with that, you can email Alex Van Aken. His email address is pretty easy to find if you're running into any hurdles there. But we want you in our Discord channel. It'll be great in there. All right, first up, let's see. Quillgrim on Discord asks, which video game world would be most enjoyable to live in, with the caveat that if you moved in, every single character and NPC would be removed. It's just you and the friends/family you bring with you living in that world.
Whoa.
Yeah. My first instinct was to go to somewhere luxurious. Like I just went off the top of my head, and because it's like I'm playing it, I've talked about it a lot in this episode. Like a Dragon Gaiden has this facility out in the middle of the ocean that's called the Castle, and it's like this really luxurious resort that has like pools and all kinds of cool stuff on it. And I was like, oh, maybe that's where I go. But like, part of this question that removes all the staff. You know?
True.
Which would make it like, then you'd have to maintain it yourself, and it's a big facility.
Is it all living things, or is it just, can you read the wording of it again?
Let's see. If you moved in every single character and NPC. So, like, animals would still be there.
So my answer then is pretty obviously Pokemon. I want Pokemon.
You just want to go be in the world of Pokemon.
Yeah. Now, this does mean finite amount of Pokeballs, which is interesting. Right, because they're created.
They are manufactured.
But
I feel like if you just dropped into a Pokemon world, like there would be enough for a lifetime just around.
Yeah, for sure,
right?
for sure.
Yeah. Is there a specific one you'd want to live in? I think Unova,
comes to mind specifically because there's some really nice beach towns in that game where like if I was just gonna relax and hang out, then that's where I would go.
Okay, well,
and then there
that's
would also
the
be a
case,
big empty city.
Maybe you might. Are you discounting Sun and Moon here, which ostensibly takes place in
Ooh.
Hawaii?
That would be nice. I think well, I don't know. I don't know in which location I have more favorite Pokemon. I guess also if I'm in the Pokemon world, like these are all just continents. So if I just get a Lapras, I can go wherever I want. Really,
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Yeah, and I guess you probably wouldn't really miss people ultimately.
Yeah. I mean, I bring like my family, but
yeah, that's enough.
Every Pikachu's a new person.
There you go. Exactly. Let's see. Zach E via Discord. I've got Thanksgiving on my mind, so bear with me. Based on games released in 2023. What games would you correlate to your Thanksgiving meal? Turkey, stuffing, side roll, dessert, other, etc. Example, Baldur's Gate 3 is the meaty main course of 2023, so it may take the turkey spot. So you have to sort of arrange some games as like...
Okay.
Like my main course would be Zelda, I think.
Mm-hmm.
That's my turkey. Baldur's Gate 3 would be the dessert that looks really appetizing that I just don't have room for. I'm sorry.
That's a good metaphor for it.
It's that apple pie, but it's like, I'm full and I already ate a piece of pumpkin. It's like, you look really good.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
I mean, actually, maybe even a better one would be like a type of pie that I don't particularly like a rhubarb pie. Because I'd be like, I know people love you, and I tried you, but my mind has not changed. It's just not clicking with me, rhubarb pie. I'm sorry.
I feel like I think Zelda is also my turkey.
Really? I thought your turkey would be Baldur's Gate for sure.
So, I think the turkey is what I came here for. At my Thanksgiving, though, we also often have ham. I think Baldur's Gate is the ham. Where I'm like, I came here for the turkey. I'll try some of this ham. Whoa! This is the best ham I've ever had. Now I don't even know if I ever want turkey again. Because the ham is so good.
Turkey got you in the door, is what you're saying.
Exactly.
Right.
And we all knew turkey was going to be good. There's no one's surprised that was like the main thing. Sorry, let me rephrase that. Zelda's my chocobo. Maybe
my baked chocobo has been in the oven for 6 hours. Oh, that's good. I like that. Yeah, Cocoon, I think, would be a nice stuffing because it's just this nice little side dish that you can get through in a couple of hours.
Mm-hmm.
Cranberries would be something like a sweet, kind of really, like a nice online multiplayer game. Maybe like, I didn't really play it, but, gosh, what is that multiplayer beta that was really popular? We've talked about it on the show.
The Finals?
The Finals, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's just this nice, sweet... You throw it on top of the stuffing, for just this little extra zing,
Mm-hmm.
But then it gets taken away halfway through dinner. And you're like, is it coming back? And they're like, maybe at the Game Awards we'll bring it back. We'll see.
Yeah. I think I would put Ghost Trick Phantom Detective as like something like a green bean casserole or something that I would never really be interested in, and people were like, it's been there, like you could have had it whenever, and this is the year I tried it and I was like, oh shit, this is great, I love this so much. But it's not like a new great thing. It's always been there, and I'm the only one that's freaking out about it. But
I like that. That's good. Or like a nice bottle of wine or something.
Yeah.
It's like, no, we've been drinking this thing. It's getting better with age. It looks better than it ever did.
Yeah.
No, I think that's perfect. I like the green bean metaphor. I like that a lot. Gosh, yeah, no, I think that I can't think of any other good fits there. Legend of Gamer 102 via Discord says, let's distract Uncle Bob from his political tirade. What game are you introducing him to on Thanksgiving? I guess there's a couple ways to approach this. Is like, do you want just the most distracting game? Or is this like introduce someone who's maybe doesn't usually play games, an older gentleman who likes to talk politics at Thanksgiving? What video game would get their attention? Because I think if we're distracting him, I think I throw on WarioWare Smooth Moves.
Yeah.
Wait, is it called Smooth Moves? Or Move It?
Move It is this one. Yeah.
Because I don't think you can look away from that game.
Yeah. I was gonna say it's got to be something that is both attention grabbing and attention holding. Like you're gonna stop whatever you're doing and go over there, but then also be like, I don't know, like come on, I could do that. Like,
yeah. The other avenue of like, do you want to introduce this person to video games? Is maybe you throw on Red Dead Redemption 2. And then after the opening cutscene concludes, you're like, by the way, you thought this was a movie? My friend, this is a video game. You have control over that character.
But those look like people. This main guy talks like I do.
This guy's got some good opinions.
I'm going to name
He's got some plans.
Biscuits. Yeah. Yeah, those are good answers. I feel like I don't really have uncles that are interested in video games. I had one like Thanksgiving, or it was like some family meal recently where my cousin that likes video games wasn't there, but my uncle was there and my grandma was there, and they were like, and they like know what my job is. Like, oh yeah, I heard about this one like this Civil War game. My uncle's like, oh, this is what it's called. And grandma's like, yeah, that's it. Charles, have you played that game? I'm like, no, I'm sure. Yeah. I'm sure it's good. Next time I see Henry, I'm sure we'll talk about it. But
a Civil War game.
He's real into like RTS, military, historical stuff.
Okay, I'm trying to think of I don't know if there was a recent Civil War game.
Definitely wasn't recent. Also, it's not not a criteria. This cousin cares. He has like I think he just leaves his computer on, but like 2,000 hours in like a Total War game or something like that. Like he is so into it.
Hey, he likes what he likes. Can I say? Last question here from Chain Whippin on Discord. Are there any video games you're thankful for beyond just the normal, hey, that was a fun time? I don't know. I guess this applies across the board. I thought maybe they just meant like for 2023. But just games you're thankful for. I mean, my favorite games of all time, right? I'm forever going to be thankful that Ocarina of Time exists and Inside, what a perfect little game. I'm so grateful for it.
I'm trying to think of. I'm sure I could think of a better example if I like thought hard enough. But just like I feel like there are some games where you finish them and you're like, I feel like this changes. Like where I feel like there's some games that are formative where afterwards it's like, oh man, I can't believe I was like playing Pokemon for so long. Like obviously that's the thing I care about. And other stuff where like as soon as it's done, I don't know if you ever played To the Moon.
No, I'm familiar with it, and it's one of those that's like, forever on my backlog.
Yeah.
But if I'm being honest with myself, I'll probably never get around to playing.
I played it once on the 4th of July. I like didn't want crowds like stressed me out. It was the thing was like I didn't want to go, so I was at home by myself the evening of 4th of July as like a 16 or 17-year-old, and I just got To the Moon on sale, and I played through all of it in one sitting, and I was like, whoa, like that's like a very vivid memory I have where I was like, I am thankful that game existed because it gave me, I don't know, it gave me that memory, which is nice. Yeah,
I was thinking of this year. I was thinking of games I was like sort of thankful for, and there's a couple that was like, one was like Pikmin 4, which I'm thankful that I got put on that review, because I don't know if there's a chance I might not have played it otherwise, and I was like, I really love this game, and I'm so glad that I got like sort of like professionally obligated to play it, and then I had another one that was like Wolong Fallen Dynasty, which was one that I think I did a new gameplay today episode with Wes, not really following that game, just like, it's another From inspired kind of game, and I didn't realize like how Sekiro specifically inspired it was. And then I watched Wes play it for like 10 minutes, and I was like, I'm gonna play this like for sure. And then I ended up playing it and beating it, which is like our time is limited in such a way where it's like I got to be picky about which games I play on my own time, and Wolong ended up being one of them, and I was like, that was cool. I'm glad I actually took the time to play through that because I really enjoyed it. Jusant, that's another one that I had kind of written off, not because I thought it looked bad or anything. It was just like, there's a lot of games coming out this year. I don't know if Jusant's going to make the cut. And then I was like, from everyone here on staff and also in other places was like, it's really good, and it's also not very long. It's a very moving, singular experience that you can get through in a couple of hours, and I'm grateful that I took the time to play it because I did end up really enjoying it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's always, it feels, it's good to like video games, obviously. I feel like there's a thing where, like, you have to play them all the time of, like, oh, I really should play this game because I'm supposed to. And then all of a sudden it's like, oh, like, I really want to keep playing Baldur's Gate 3. No one told me to. I don't have to. I just really like it.
Yeah, it's a weird thing specific to us, I think, where it's like you do hit that like me, like a dragon. I have no professional obligation to play that game, but I was like, yeah, I want to see what happens. Let's just play. Imagine this. I'm going to play it for fun. Can you even imagine that? But anyway, that's Game Informer show for this week. A somewhat shorter episode. I hope you don't mind. But, you've got something to listen to on Thanksgiving. I hope you have one AirPod in, and no one's really paying attention. You have your AirPod strategically placed on the ear that's, like, not facing your family while you're listening to
the hair's down.
Yeah, exactly. Maybe you've got your hoodie pulled up. And, you're listening to us instead of your Uncle Bob, who's talking about some political thing, and you're like, can we just go play WarioWare? That's like what. So, anyway, thanks. Hey, thanks for. We're not at the end of the year yet, but thanks for all your support to Game Informer, and we got some exciting stuff coming up. We have the next issue coming, and I think we'll have something. I don't know. Like I can at least tease. We've got something big that we're excited for Game Informer. That's overdue. That'll be coming in a few weeks, I think, maybe even sooner. Yeah, thanks, Charles, for this 2-person episode. I appreciate you taking the time.
Well, I'm thankful that I was here, and I'm thankful for the time that we got to spend with Marcus and Alex before they couldn't show up today. And most importantly, I'm thankful for listeners like you. Not you, Kyle, the audience.
I'm listening. So that counts as something. But yeah, thanks for tuning in, everybody. And we'll see you next week, or you'll hear from us next week. Bye.